Hi everyone, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel, and this is your reading for March 2nd new moon in Pisces that happened today, this morning at 9:30 a.m. I hope you like this energy because it's going to be one of the nicer new moons of the year, and it brings with it a lot of good energy that I want to tell you about. So, of course, there's a lot of things going on in the world that are heavy, that are difficult. But one of the factors of this current astrology specifically is that there's a lot of good with the bad. And I want to encourage all of you to have faith that in all of this darkness, all of these heavy energies, there is going to be some redeemable things. And I'm getting lots of downloads that it's going to be very karmic for people. So if you are experiencing injustice or regarding the world events, if you are very troubled by this, as we all are, that justice will find a way. And I have some ideas of when and how, although today is not one of my political videos. In fact, I already told the members in our private sessions that I don't know if I'm going to continue talking about this so much. My kind of conclusion about everything that's going on is that there was a time and a place to say something, and I do have a couple more things to say about everything before I fully kind of do less of it. But I don't talk about those types of scenarios unless I feel like I'm adding to the situation. So, I wish the best for everyone. Similar to the Bitcoin idea, it seems as though Ukraine is choosing to take donations by Bitcoin. So I'm not sure. It's their prerogative. It was just an idea I had after watching the horror of the things that were happening. So, of course, I just put it out there. My ideas are sort of crazy sometimes. I'm glad for everybody who kind of spoke up about it and said their opinions. And I think the priority is to stop any violence and stop people getting hurt. As usual, that's the number one priority. So anyway, why don't we get on with today's video for the new moon? Very, very difficult to just switch gears because I'm literally thinking about this all the time, but there is some beautiful energy today that I want to highlight for you guys so you can kind of do what you need to do with it. We're going to do a tarot reading too today, which is with the Mermaid Tarot because it's the Pisces full moon. So as I said, the Pisces, not full moon, new moon, sorry. The Pisces new moon happened this morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. All the times I give are Pacific. So for Eastern, you want to add 3 hours. For Europe, you want to add 8. For India, you want to add, I think, 12. And then for East Asia, it depends on where you are in terms, and Australia, you want to figure out, it's like a full day ahead or something. When I do my client calls with people in East Asia and Australia, I count back. So it's like 16 hours difference. So add 16 hours or anyway, so they're almost a full day ahead. So just figure out, I'm Vancouver time. So type in Google the times that you want and convert it to your location. Now the sun's come out, so I can't even see my screen except for this part. So we're just going to go with it. I guess that's a good omen, and you guys can see the light hopefully come through a little bit. I'm not pushing sun away on February, March days because this time of the year here where I live, it's very rare. It's a blessing. So we'll take it as that. Okay. So the new moon is 9:30 a.m. Pacific time at 12 degrees of Pisces. That's the second decan of Pisces, right? Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So the traditional planet that rules Pisces is Neptune, and the modern planet is Jupiter. So we have all the rulers of Pisces in the same sign as the new moon. So this is very, very special. Beyond that, Jupiter rules the second decan. So the decans are a division of 3 in each sign, 0 to 10 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees, and 20 to 30 degrees. And each one is ruled by a planet. So the second decan has the traditional ruler as Jupiter, and we see Jupiter here right now, and the modern ruler is the moon. So the moon is also in its domicile. So very, very strong energy. I want to correct myself because I think I misspoke. The traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. The modern ruler is Neptune, of course, because in traditional astrology, they didn't have Neptune on the charts. So basically, this energy is very concentrated. And in Pisces, I mean, we're talking about things like magic, just psychic awareness, being in the flow. If you're a person who enjoys the flow a lot, meaning if you're kind of an energy person, if you work off vibes a lot, I do, and I have to tone it down for you guys, but if you work off vibes a lot, if you're kind of like, look at life through this kind of, I don't know, like mystic lens, and you can kind of talk to this, like with the sun, for example, coming out. For me, that's a great omen that I'm presenting to you guys this astrology, and the sun came out the moment that we connected. So if you're one of these people that enjoys the ethereal, the Piscean energy, the flow of water, this is going to be very, very positive for you, a good feeling, and hopefully a good rest for all the energy that's been around lately, because it's been pretty much like, you know, the hammer and sickle, and no jokes out there, but for real though, like it's been pretty intense. So yes, so I hope that it's decompressing that for you a little bit. I'll explain how all these things are working in Pisces in a minute, but I just wanted to tell you the general vibe. It's pretty like psychically connected. If you have like a close friend or someone with whom you're deeply connected with, there's a lot of like psychic understanding between the two of you. You might be surprised at how people reach out to you at this time. Dreams may become very pronounced. There could be a lot of serendipity going on, a lot of like just ethereal energy, which is really nice. And I think that in some way it's providing hope. So whether it's in your personal life or in this greater circumstances, I hope that it's providing hope for you in your lives. I hope it's elevating you, and I hope it's helping you find some new directions. So maybe some of you have been feeling very kind of closeted, very hunkered over with this recent energy. I know I have. And maybe you have not been able to look past it because it's just been layered on top of you very, very intensely. But maybe with this new moon, you have the feeling that spring is around the corner, that there's some hope, you know, that there will be a resolution. And so I think it's very important for us to have hope and to bring hope in our personal lives and in these global situations. So, you know, I think I just started this today. I mean, I'm always very pro-Slavic, no matter which type of Slav you are, regardless of, you know, ethnicity, race, religion, whatever. I have your back if you're Slavic. And today I found myself telling all of them, like every Slavic person I had contact with, like we need to support each other and be together, and not in the same way that we need to be one country, but in the sense that we need to stop the fighting. We're a family, and we need to stop coming at each other in negative ways, because it only makes us weaker against greater threats that may be trying to break us up. So to all the Slavs out there, I love you. To all the Americans out there, I love you. Americans, you guys don't know how much you've changed my life over the last decade. And well, it's over a decade now, but you guys online, it's been about a decade, and it's been just a blessing. So and my Canadians too. You guys are okay. But anyway, so all of you in the world are wonderful. Everybody in my community, of course. But maybe this Piscean moon allows you to kind of touch base with what's important and puts a little bit of hope in moving forward, be it in your personal matters or in the collective. Now, the 12th house is an interesting house, so let's maybe talk about the 12th house a little bit to get in tune with this energy. I'm kind of going, with the flow of it. So I wasn't going to talk about this, but maybe this is a good segue to talk about this at this time. So the 12th house is the house of Pisces, and it's ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. And these are the planets of the collective, like they're planets of all of us together. Now, we've sort of figured out all of these different ways of structurally organizing ourselves. That's Saturn. But there is an underpinning of all of us on Earth that is that of the animalistic side, the nature. And so nature in some way supersedes any system, any government system, any economic system that we've devised. And this is how we find truth with each other, right? So this energy of the 12th house is that deep, deep energy of interconnectedness. And it's a very, very good new moon to kind of elevate ourselves and move past the dark, move past dark situations and bring light to darkness. So this is a very magical new moon. Also, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I hope you're planting your seeds because you want to get them in right now. So yeah, you guys will see my nails turning like into a mess over the next couple months, but I don't care. But yes, just plant your seeds. And if you're not a gardener, go to somewhere and get some seeds, or maybe you have a tomato or something at home where you can pluck a seed out. And it would be a good idea to kind of do a gardening spell today and plant a seed and let it grow. Just a little plant. You don't have to grow anything special. But yeah, just put a little bit of life into the ground somewhere around you. It'll be a really good sort of energetic connectedness to this vibe of the Piscean energy. So yeah, so what they say about love. Let's talk about love a little bit. So Venus is this love of the other. You and someone else are in love, you share love, whatever. Neptune is the higher frequency of love. And I don't have my kunzite around, which I always use to explain Neptune. Neptune is the elevated love, which means love of humanity, love of each other, and this worldview that's greater than everything that we have going on here. So it's an elevated love, it's a heightened frequency, it is compassion, and it is ethereal. So that is the true nature of Piscean energy. And if you have a Pisces friend, happy Pisces season. Sorry I didn't get the Pisces video. I tend to do the Aquarius season videos and then I just don't do the rest of them. I don't know why. But happy birthday, Pisces. If you guys know a Pisces sun, moon, and rising friend, they may be a little bit, that's what I'm talking about. They have, the way to define a Pisces is that they're undefinable. And so therefore they have that frequency of flow, which is, it's not anything goes. It has a lot to do with malleability. It has a lot to do with transcendence. But Piscean energy is full of love for humanity. And that's what this new moon is about. So that's the overview. Now let's talk about some of the highlights because they're kind of important to know. And I'm sorry that I didn't post this earlier. Obviously, it's been a little bit kind of wonky and difficult to put things together. But let's talk about it now. So the new moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, right? So we got that. Both rulers are in Pisces, and they're going to join together on April 8th. there's going to be some kind of transcendent miracle that's going to happen in all of our lives. One of the downloads that I'm getting about this time is that maybe some of these things are not apparent, and don't get discouraged if there are really harsh things that are happening around us now. I'm not even talking politics. I mean, in your life, if things are difficult or if you feel like a little bit gritty at this time, because we're working our way up to that conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune that only happens once every 156 years in Pisces. It's really rare, maybe once or twice, depending on, I don't know. I have to double check and get back to you if it happens twice, but definitely once every 156 years. 182 years. What am I saying? And then, but the last time this happened was 1856. Sorry. So yeah, it's been a while since they've been together. And the special thing about it, of course, is because they're the rulers of Pisces and they're joining together in Pisces. So this is a magical moment. We're working up to it now, and this is the activation point. So there's something really hopeful and transcendent. And I hope that you guys just put in good energy towards others and just make it a priority at this time to bring good into the world around you in many forms. And this is going to be very, very beneficial in all situations. People ask me, because I'm Slavic, what can I do? What can I contribute? The thing is that everybody is mediated by their resources and by where they live and so forth. So it's, if you can contribute not just to Eastern Europe, but to all situations at this time, your positivity, your consciousness, your thoughts, and just your positive actions wherever you can take them. Don't do nothing just because you feel you can't do a lot, right? Do a little bit. It's just like veganism. It's better if you can be vegan for 3 or 4 days a week than completely forego not eating meat and just eat meat all the time. So, a 4-day vegan is better than a no vegan. And ideally you can do more, but of course, in life, it's just trying a little bit. And this is what the energy of the moon is. Try a little bit, put the good energy in, and you may just see a transcendent moment. Okay, so we have the new moon energy in Pisces sort of figured out. That took 18 minutes, but I'm just doing one reading for the collective. I brought these here, so I'm kind of going with flow because it's Pisces energy. I think Pisces signs will understand me today the most, but maybe some fire signs will also, because the sun's shining on me. I'm like, oh, sun. As a heavy fire sign person, I really struggle in the Pacific Northwest in Canada on the West Coast because it's so dark here for about 4 months of the year because of the clouds. So this is the Brautale Tarot. This is a deck that's associated with like things like starseed and light language. So at first I didn't realize what it was designed for, but it's light language. So all of you who are interested in light language, this is like an expression of it. So maybe I'll pick 3 cards just to take a look. With this one, I want to kind of give you guys your own impression. So maybe pay attention to what these cards are telling you on your own and what strikes your heart. They have a way of talking and sharing. So we have growth. They're really beautiful. So we have giving, growth, really good energy. And then we have one of my favorite cards, 111, transformation. So I really believe of the potential of transformation and improvement in certain circumstances. And not to, kind of keep talking about it, but for me it's very relevant. I believe that, the things happening in Eastern Europe are a lot of things that have not been addressed for a long time. And that is what is leading to this degree of friction and violence. And I'm not validating violence. I think it should stop right now. But the cause of it is many years of trauma and racism and violence and difficult things that were not addressed. So I hope that they stop the fighting. I hope that they stop the what's going on. But it is caused by latency, and it's a tower moment, right? In our tarot talk kind of way. So we have giving, growth, transformation. I believe we can put good energy into circumstances and see growth and potential rising up. So, okay. So now let's see what's going on forward. So there are, like I said at the beginning, there are 3 decans. So there's 0 to 10 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees, and 20 to 30 degrees. So the decan in the middle is where the new moon is, and that is ruled by Jupiter, which is also in the second decan. Very, very powerful energy. All you people who like to manifest and use energy for this energy is way more powerful than 22022022, astrologically speaking. You're getting really, really high frequency here, with the caveat that if you have placements that are not well aligned to Pisces energy, and I'm not going to say which ones because I don't want to make you feel bad, but if you have some difficult angles, or if you're not really a water sign person, this may not be your energy for manifest. So it has to go along with your energy at the end of the day. But this energy is good for most, and I think it's really leading to something hopefully very beautiful. I really hope it's beautiful, and I hope it's transcendent. They say Jesus was born around, connected to the Pisces energy. Many different prophets and many different holy people are deeply connected with this sign. And so, yeah, just embrace it. It's just, there's something very beautiful about it. Okay, so Jupiter in the second house, in the second decan that it rules. So it's in rulership in the sign it rules and in the decan that it rules. So this is just a moment of transcendence. Let's talk about Jupiter a little bit. Today's a good day to kind of dive deeper with astrology and really break it down. Jupiter is like the god. He is the sky father, and many traditions around the world, including Slavic traditions, have the sky father myth, Zeus, right, in Greece. This idea of this benevolent god in the sky who is watching over us. And this spans the whole Eurasian continent. Like, there's traditions right across the Eurasian continent that speak of the sky father. So Jupiter is the god. And so in terms of blockages, in terms of things that are keeping us down, Jupiter lifts us up and moves us forward. And so the fact that it's in this position, which it's only in once every 12 years, this once in 12 year new moon, which it happens to be in the same decan, it's not always in the same decan, is just that moment of transcendence. So whatever you do with energy, whatever kind of thing you want to elevate it now, because this is the moment of transcendence. This is a smaller aspect here, but I do want to highlight it a little bit for you now. This isn't in line with like the direct new moon energy, but it's still there. We have a sextile to Uranus, and you guys know I love my sextiles, and you know Uranus is my favorite planet. So Uranus in a sextile to the new moon, and very close to a sextile to Jupiter, depending on how big your orb is. Something new is coming in, transcendent. Resolution of problems, whatever you have been stuck in, this is your moment, at least of seeing it. The beginning seeds are here. So this is a special day, you guys. It really is. And it's also Ash Wednesday for Catholics. So that's also very, very special and religious. I'm not trying to be overly religious, but it's a good idea to get a fair understanding of many different belief systems so that you can understand the frequencies of all, because they're all talking about the same thing in different ways, aren't they? Okay, so we have this beautiful Jupiter in the second decan with the sun and the moon. There's a couple transits to be aware of. in terms of Jupiter over the next 2 days. One just happened this afternoon, so you want to look back to, oh shoot, hold on. What happened? Okay, so hold on, I have a problem, you guys. Hold on one sec, I'll be right back. My power is out and my computer will lose power if I don't reconnect it, and I don't know why it's out. Hold on one sec. I'm back. Sorry. I was scared. I was like, oh shoot, what happened? Because I couldn't see it disconnected from the plug. All right. So what were we talking about? Jupiter. So today at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Jupiter had formed a conjunction with the moon right after the new moon. So you want to look back to 1:30 p.m. and see if you had some powerful insight. What were you doing at 1:30 p.m. on March 2nd? This is important information. The second conjunction for Jupiter on the horizon is the Sun. The Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction on March 5th at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So that's 9 a.m. Eastern. So this moon transit with the solar transit in aspect to Jupiter are closely connected. The moon is giving you insight and understanding regarding a matter that's important to you, and the Sun is going to actually bring that into fruition in some way. So the next 2 to 3 days are very special, and this energy is very benefic, and you might be looking at a period of time that begins now and fully develops until April when Jupiter and Neptune join together. So be very patient with that. Okay, so now let's move on to the modern ruler of the second decan, which is the moon. So we have a big emotional beginning. You really want to be clear in your emotions. We're getting really good cards like giving, growth, and transformation. The things that we're putting in towards circumstances is what we're going to get back. This is a breath of life, and I hope you share it freely with everyone in the true Piscean fashion. So whatever situations you may be feeling stuck in, this is the moment in which you may feel as though there's a final a step forward, finally a step forward. So the moon is this emotional lift that I was talking to you about. The moon also has several aspects. So first it was the one with Jupiter that we spoke about that happened earlier today. And then tomorrow morning, March 3rd at 3 a.m., the moon and Neptune are going to join at 3 a.m. in Pisces. So that's going to be the second moment where there's going to be some very specific frequencies that the moon is going to activate. Again, it's activating a frequency that will build until the conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune on April 8th. This is more of a global thing, but it's also your connection to the collective. So with this new moon, there's an awakening, and your connection to the collective is improving. The Sun will be with Neptune on March 13th. So it's one after the other that there's going to be special days. I'll put it all together for you guys somewhere so you can see it. Okay, so it's a very, very exciting energy. There's another very important energy that's happening right now. And this energy is, I wouldn't say it's as light and expansive as this new moon is, but it's still very important. It's the conjunction, and I've already talked about it, but let's talk about it in the context of the new moon. It's the conjunction of Pluto, Mars, and Venus. And so this means that there are some very fundamental and important things happening in all of our lives that are connected to giving, growth, and transformation. When I was getting ready to do this reading with you guys today, I really had a deep download in which there was some understanding that when the moon, which is now this new moon in Pisces, reaches this point, the North Node at 26 degrees of Taurus, when it reaches this point, there is going to be awareness of what today is actually manifesting. So you may not find out until the moon reaches this degree, and that's going to be on March 8th. I've already talked about it on TikTok. I'm going to make some more information for you about this at this time. But when the moon actually reaches this position, this new moon moves into this position, this conjunction between Mars, Venus, and Pluto, you will say, aha, that's what it is. In fact, these two things are happening concurrently, and they're huge. They are groundbreaking energies. You guys know how I read. I'm like not one to be like, this is it. This is, like dramatic or whatever. But if you want, and I save those times for times like this when I can say, guys, these energies are it. Like, no, they're not the only ones, but these are high frequency, intense energies that will really, you guys can hear I'm lit, intense energies that can really push things along right now. I would severely encourage you, or very strongly encourage you, to come at this with positive energy. Come at this with very positive energy, and don't bring hostility into it. With Mars and Pluto conjunct, especially in a sign like Capricorn, if you're coming into it with warring energy or violence of some form, you're sort of it's kind of like a shredder energy, so you just don't want to go there. It's too intense. You're a human being. It just don't bring that type of frequency to it. And not to kill the old story, like reiterate the whole old story over again, but the North Node is still with Algol. This is the last set of transits in which it's going to be aspecting Algol. It's already very lightly aspecting it, but it's still there. But because remember, this conjunction between Mars, Venus, and Pluto has not happened since 1036 in this way in Capricorn. And it's not going to happen until 2200 something. So it's a long time before our time and after our time that this conjunction's happening. And the fact that the North Node is an aspect is even more important. So whatever's happening in your life, take note. If you have some ideas about your life, about the things you want, take note. This is the time to really pay attention. It's the time to be humble too. And in relation to the world politics, this is a very honest answer that I have, that the people, and this is not pointing fingers at anyone, the people who are actually doing the damage, this is without being political, the people who are actually doing the damage behind the scenes, the figureheads, right? They are going to see a reckoning. And if they're doing this, throwing that type of energy, the violent, hostile energy out right now, there is going to be great consequences for them. The other thing that I'll say is that there's a rise in government action around the world, right? So this conjunction is in line with that. And the silver lining is that this is the last major conjunction in Capricorn until December, but the one in December will be much less benign. So we're really saying goodbye to Pluto in Capricorn. We were very fortunate to have Pluto in Capricorn during our lives. Many people don't experience it. It's actually a very good transit overall. And some of the great towers that we're seeing around the world falling is not in and of itself bad. Remember, a tower is a tower because a situation was not addressed well before, and there's latent hostilities, there's latent inequality, there's latent problems that need to break down. And then if we kept it going further, then it would have been worse later. So remember that always, be it in your personal life or in the global realm. A lot of these things are happening because there are issues that need addressing, and I think that it's important for us to be receptive to what they're telling us and not be dismissive of them. So don't judge other people so much, and be very open in your thinking. Don't jump to conclusions. Try to have a student mind right now, because that's how you will elevate your thinking, and that's how you will make the real transformation. I've had many aha moments in this period and time in which I was convinced that things were a certain way, and then a moment I realized I was wrong, and I'm like, Veroosh, take a step back, and that's okay. And I think it's very important for you guys too to be flexible in your thinking, in your personal life, and so forth. And you will have a learning lesson when the moon enters into Taurus on March 8th. And I don't mean to heckle. It's not like a learning lesson like this. It's just going to be that aha moment, opportunity for growth and transcendence. So bring positivity. This is a great time to, I'm not all about love and light, right? I tell you guys about the shadow, I'm a realist, but this is a great time to be love and light. So love and light to you all. And I think I've covered the majority of it. If not, then I'll add things on Twitter. And I hope you liked this little talk. I know it was 36 minutes, which is a lot of astrology for one day. I did want to pick some cards, some of these cards, before we finish. We'll do a tarot reading now, but I want to pick some cards for this frequency here. The Pluto, Venus, and Mars, okay? So let's take a look. This is Vesta, by the way. If you're curious, she's an asteroid. She's still there. She's adding to this frequency. I'm not trying to be rude. Vesta was Jupiter's sister, and she refused to get married. And instead, she promised to support her brother. And like, she was always like the good girl who was kind. Like, she's the pure energy of kindness and self-sacrifice. So it's a really beautiful energy, which actually does tide this out really well. That's also the high frequency of Capricorn, right? We talk about Capricorn like war, government, intense things, yeah? But Capricorn is all about justice and fairness, and like, it is the highest frequency, the elevated understanding of karma. It is it's Saturn ruled, right? Saturn rules Capricorn. It's the highest energy of karma. It's the law above the law. It is the point of connection between us and higher frequencies in terms of, you know, like morality or elevated ethics. So, you know, Vesta here is definitely not a bad vibe. So I know it feels like the world's kind of nutty at this time, and not kind of nutty. I don't mean to diminish what's going on, but the point is that this energy has a lot of potential, and I really, you know, I think our world has really been hurting, and there's this misnomer that's been going around that it's worse now than it was before. Honey, you didn't want to be around in the 1400s. You didn't want to be around in the 1700s. We watch movies about kings and all these, maybe not 1700s in France if you're a king, right? But overall, the average person had a very difficult life until very recently, you know? So we do want to kind of have hope for the future and believe that we can elevate and transcend our sometimes brutal past. And yes, there were beautiful things about the past, and there were beautiful cultures in the past, and we can have reverence for them. I'm not saying that, but it's not necessarily that the past was some beautiful place that we've strayed away from. You know, we've gotten better genetically, we've gotten better intellectually, we've hopefully seen like things on a deeper level, and so hopefully it's helped us grow. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I have hope. Okay, so Pluto, Mars, and Venus. So we have number 47, Thought. These cards are intense. Remember, try to get your own impression as I lift them up. Then we have Goodness. And then we have perseverance. So the whole energy, Mars is giving action, Pluto is giving strength, and Venus is giving the goodness and compassion. But you know, when I lifted it up, I actually thought this was Mars. That was just my impression. And perseverance of love, you know. So as a Slav, talking to, whether you're, you know, there's different tiers of Slavs, I think. I think that there's like people, like all ethnicities. And so no matter even if you're disconnected from your Slavic heritage and, you know, you had a grandma or a great grandma who was Slavic, I mean you too. And, you know, I hope that like I think that Slavic culture is very fractured because of war and because of divisiveness. And I think it's very important for Slavs to heal ourselves and heal each other and support Slavs who are in Eastern Europe the most, because they're the ones who are living the reality, not us in North America, not us in the rest of Europe. It's the people there that are, you know, living with the consequences that got me and you here. So it's very important that we share love and compassion and work really hard to save their lives. So that's just my impression. So thought, goodness, and perseverance. And no matter what your ethnic background is, I can only speak for mine, right? I'm often quiet about other ethnicities out of consideration, because I don't want to speak over other people or put words in their mouth. It's a very difficult kind of road to walk, but just know that I really support all people, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, and it's very important to me. I'm a human rights advocate in my mind, which means that I although I have respect for every ethnicity's call for action and what they want to change, ultimately I want human beings, all human beings, to have a better life, irregardless of race or religion, you know, so or gender. Gender is very important, of course. So I hope that this is impassioned. I hope it's giving you inspiration. Sorry, I just really got in my feelings with this one, but there is this moment right now. Something is happening, whether it's in your personal life. Pay attention, be aware, get your rest, because I think by about March 8th, there's going to be a point of, wow, this is it. And by April 8th, something else is coming. So you really want to be self-aware. I haven't been this excited about some transits for a while. So I hope this gives you excitement too. So, you know, sometimes in the darkest moments, we find the most amazing things, the missing piece of the puzzle and so forth. Okay, so I'm very, very sentimental, so let's get me off that track. Okay, as a segue to our collective reading, members, I'm going to do the extended for you guys tomorrow on this, okay? And because I need to do, members, I need to do the earth signs, your individual live stream. We'll do that tomorrow. And I think I'm going to run out of daylight today, so the collective for members will be done tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll do the live stream for earth sign members, okay? But I want to show you guys my crystal. I haven't brought this one out in a while. It's a diopsode. I think it's in a crystal quartz. Let's see if it, come on, focus. Whenever I want to show you guys things, it doesn't want to focus. Focus, camera. Why are you so mean to us? I want to show them the crystal. So I thought this crystal was really good. It has green inclusions in, I don't know if it's a smoky or if it's a crystal quartz, but it's really quite beautiful. I'm sorry it's doing this, you guys. When the light comes out, because I hope the sun will break through. Oh, you can kind of see it here. It's beautiful. So I wanted to show you guys about all the things. So the inclusions, the little parts that are coming through the crystal, remind me of like hope breaking through, you know, and different things being born and new directions being taken. Okay, tarot reading, you guys. Bottom sign, the moon. Happy new moon, everybody. Good energy to you. Okay, so let's do this. I hope it wasn't too much. Comments are open today, so just leave me a comment later in the description. Okay, so first energy is, look at this, Wheel of Fortune. That's Jupiter, right? Jupiter is like super powerful today. Jupiter's in rulership, and it's in rulership in the second decan. So this is the high point of Jupiter in Pisces at this time. Wonderful breakthrough moments, transcendent moments. I feel like I'm finally saying, not finally, I always talk from the heart, but I really feel like my message today, if you're wondering about my sincerity, I felt like today's message was really sincere, for example. So it feels at this time that we're being within our action. You are doing what you truly want. You know what you want. You know what's in your heart. There's that real level of awareness. Okay, so Jupiter. And hopefully the ways to get us there. Then we have the Nine of Swords. So this to me speaks of Ukraine, because in this position, it really speaks of someone who is suffering and learning through their experience. And I don't wish this on anyone. And again, each time I say it, I want to really stress that I want the war to end yesterday. And but yet it's just such a painful learning lesson, and people suffering is not our learning lesson, but we have to fix the world. And so this Nine of Swords is that point of awareness. Beyond politics, looking at your individual experiences, there may be someone who is around you who is also having a very hard time, and it's there. Oh, you know what? I watched some stuff about these women. You guys heard about this swindler? I don't watch a lot of movies, just so you know, but there was this documentary about this man who was like ripping women off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so the way I watch movies is funny. I watch them 5 minutes at a time. I skip through the movie. The whole movie is done in like 15 minutes. That's how I watch all movies. I watch the beginning to figure out what's going on. Then I skip over and move past. Anyway, so this Tinder swindler dude, he ripped off these girls and huge amounts of money, and they're still like stuck in debt because of it, and he just ruined their lives. And so it's this energy of this Nine of Swords. Whoever this energy is coming from, you are sort of learning, you're learning painful life lessons by hearing the stories of others. And hopefully you're listening, because if there's any silver lining in their experience or Ukraine, it's that we pay attention and we learn to not do it anymore, right? In our own lives and in collective. So that it's not a learning tool, but if it's happening, that's how you elevate it, by learning and by elevating yourself so that you don't contribute to such an energy in your life. Anyway, Nine of Swords is there. There's definitely difficulties, and I'll talk about the energies, the more complicated energies, on another time. Then we have the Justice card, which is the card of Libra, which is fairness and order and balance being brought into the world. Something very good is happening for relationships. I think that the hearts are being awakened, and I think people are really yearning to love. So if you've met someone who you love, or if you've met someone who you like, people are very awakened to love at this time. I think people really want human connection, and it's just a very passionate time. Let's see the next message. We have the Leo, the Strength. There's great agency to move forward. There's new beginnings in terms of acting on things. If you're hoping that a man asks you out, this may be a transit for you. So there's a lot of, if you're dealing with a man who's a little bit shy, or there's some kind of cowardly energy there, they may be in some way overcoming that, or they may be in some way, just having a little bit of more energy to take what they want or achieve what they want. 5 of Cups. So that's sympathy for other people, compassion for other people at this time. It really feels as though there's a great potential for individual success, and yet many people around us are struggling. Many people around us are going through difficult, like dark night of the soul type energy. And I think that this is sympathy, the Five of Cups, sympathy for someone else, sympathy for their struggle, because I think that in terms of relationships, there's a very clear mind here. There's a very like self-awareness. Now, Pisces has the kind of, how do you say, Pisces has the, they say Pisces is kind of scatterbrained, just like you saw me be. But actually Pisces is very well aligned, very grounded sign, very self-aware. They just pick up on so many details that they need a lot of time to process things. But they're actually more in tune than most of us, sun, moon, and rising. I'm so close to having a Pisces moon, and I just wish I had. I love my Aquarian moon, but Pisces moon would be amazing. Anyway, so I thought I could catch the light and show you guys. Maybe I'll take a picture and show you somewhere else. Anyway, so then we have the Ten of Cups. Very happy situations with families. I recall from a recent reading there was some difficulties with regards to families. It looks like things are very much on the uptake, and I feel like things are improving. This is the Wheel of Fortune is a 10, and this is a 10, so things are really improving until towards like family togetherness and just cohesiveness between people. Then we have the World card. Okay, so the World, expansion, growth. I think that there's a real message here. If you have a friend who is suffering, if you have a friend who's having a difficult time, especially in terms of the mind or mental stress, I think that they will elevate, and I think that they will find a solution for what's happening for them now. And it's really nice that you're feeling the great sympathy for them. And I think that the other message that I got very strong, and I don't know if I was explicit about this in the astrology, was your compassion for others is in and of itself a powerful weapon. So the fact that you cry for the well-being of others, or the fact that you have them in your thoughts and prayers, is a powerful weapon. Now, I'm not going to jump the gun and say, if we just meditate, it will go away. That's not how it works. But you are bringing light into a situation, especially on a day like this. Light a candle, plant a seed, do something symbolic, because your energy contributes positive to the situation. And I have this hope and feeling that this situation can resolve because so many people do care. The only problem that I see is people are jumping to conclusions, A, without understanding situations, and B, just falling into the same old narratives. So rather, just to prevent that in terms of being right and wrong, I think there's a level here of not knowing what's right and wrong fully. So I think that, and like I said myself, I was corrected about some things that I thought that were right one way and then it turned out another. A way to deal with that is to step away from a judgmental energy, the justice, and just be like, I want good for this situation, and just leave it up to the frequencies of the universe, Jupiter, the sky, right? Let the energies, let the chips fall where they may, where they're just and where they're fair, right? And if you pass judgment and say, well, I think it's this way, then you run the risk of being wrong and sending your positive energy in the wrong direction. So you really want, in all your situations right now, whether it's a friend, like if you're speculative of a friend's intentions, just say, I want the light in this situation to rise. I don't, without the judgment, without your circumspection, just the point is the best for all, the best for everyone, the truth to come out. And I feel like a lot of that so if you're wanting to see what it is, I think that you will see much more when the moon hits the North Node on March 8th. I think that we'll see much more of what's starting now. Let me just connect it with this. we'll see much more of what's starting now, which is this conjunction in Capricorn. Something is happening today. Something huge is happening today. But I have the feeling that it's behind the scenes for many of us. So whether it's in your personal life or or the collective, I think that things are happening. But yes. Okay, so the sun is setting, so let's get going. We have the Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings. There's new solutions around. Dig around in the dirt. I really think all of you guys who love to garden or plant, get a seed, stick it in the dirt, put it in a little pot or something, and watch it grow. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be an apple seed or whatever you have within reach, right? Okay, so, and put some good intentions behind it. Then we have the Five of Pentacles here. I think that people are afraid. There's a trust issue here. And in your personal relationships, there may be a trust issue between you and your partner. But there's a deep yearning for connection, but yet there's a trust issue here. There's things have been said and done. Oh, shoot. The cards just went, look at this. They went all over the place. Okay, so sorry. The star just fell out. Well, we'll put that here. Again, a sign of good luck, a sign of good energy. We have the Fool in the beginning. That's Uranus. So watch the astrology if you want to know what Uranus is up to. New solutions, new outcomes. Our relationships with others are alienated at this time, and the star in some way is helping us to transcend and over. This is an assurance of a good outcome. So assurance of a good outcome, first card in any spread, is very important. And this card here, the 10th card, also very, very important, the star. So it's giving a lot of signals that there is new beginnings. In the 8th card here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. New beginnings, new solutions, another way. Okay, so let's see. Here is the next message. We have the 10 of Swords. A situation, I'm telling you guys, I feel it like a situation, a logical argument, and I'm not talking about war. I'm talking about a logical argument, a politics, discussion needs to come to a natural end. You can't rush it. And when it's done, it's done. It will be resolved. That's what it's saying. And then justice will happen. Don't worry if you're in a situation in which it's a back and forth between you and someone else, and there's a lot of discussion about who's right and wrong. And you're worried that when all is said and done, even though you know you're right, it's not going to be in your favor because of XYZ. I think that once it unfolds, I think it will be fair, and I think you will be settled with this energy. Here is the next energy. We have the 6 of Cups. We're just getting some really good cards. So this is a message of love. So if you're feeling estranged from others, estranged from relationships, and far away from people that you love, good observation, Cosmic Tales. Thanks for pointing out. I'll mention that in a second. So we have the 6 of Cups. And so this message is that if there has been separation from you and people who you love, that love, the underlying love is there, and that can't be broken apart. 10, 10, 10. Thanks, Cosmic Tales, for catching that. So we have definitely some really high frequency energy. The bottom line is that what I was telling you guys about nurture. Sometimes I kind of like talk about things without like knowing what I'm talking about. Like, I know it sounds funny, but that's channeling. Like, and that's what I was meaning. Like this energy here, that basically, when all is said and done, we can put structure. I'll do it with astrology because it's easier for me to explain. So we can do it with structure, Saturn, right? Impose our structures, our governments, our economic systems on the world, and rules on each other. This is my boyfriend or girlfriend. This is the rules. This is our relationship. Da da da. My name is Veroosh. Your name is Karen. Whatever else, So whatever structures you're putting on, there's an underlying flow. There's an underlying flow that will break all of the structures down if the structures are failing us, because all the structures are real. Pay attention to nature. Nature, trees, grass, rocks, water. It all has curvature to it, right? Doesn't it? It all has, this very, very specific. We can't copy nature, because when you look at the surface of nature, it's even my skin, it's like it flows and it's not consistent. But everything we make as humans is flat, isn't it? So it's like a replica of nature. It's pretty good that we make it, but it's not nature. It's not flat. And so applying the structural example to nature, to something that's natural, like this beautiful Lemurian crystal, all its little curvatures, all its little bumps and valleys and all that. In life, outside of the physical structure of things, our life, the way we structure ourselves in the human connections and our emotions, they're not consistent and in a box either. They're not flat. They're like a tree's bark. They're like a river current. They're like a blades of grass. They're unequal in the soil, right? Everything has its own curvature. And so when we make as humans structures that are not working and are causing too much damage, they break down. That's what this means. And so this means that if we are in a relationship, friendship, family, love, if our minds have created cages for ourselves and the relationships are breaking down, but there's really that natural love between us, that breaks down ultimately all the stupid shit we make up, sorry for the S word, but all the stupid stuff we make up, that ultimately breaks down because the nature breaks through and it's spring, right? It's spring. And so if you're worried about a relationship with someone that has broken down, you're wondering whether you'll be friends with them again, or they still love you. I can't promise you that you'll be in the same position with them again, because that's your personal situation. But there's an indicator here that there's love, that there's an underlying connection that's natural. Here is the next message. We have the Ace of Swords. We have a couple aces right together. And this is, I won't be surprised, I'll call it right now, but there's the World card. So we have 10, 9, World card, couple aces. I won't be surprised if the Tower doesn't show up here, or the Death card. There's definitely a very significant beginning happening today. That's what I'll say. Communication, just a real breakthrough. 10 of Pentacles. Look, we have 3 10s already down. So cosmic tails here. I'll take this chart off. Sorry. Sometimes when I look at the chart, I can express myself better. So that's what that was for. Okay. So keep going after what you have your family within yourself. That's what this is saying. If you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling isolated or alone, you have your progeny, you have your family, your ancestors are with you. You have nothing to worry about. The next card is, and it's in the reverse. So we have the 3 of Pentacles right here. This is a warning, you guys, and this will be to do with my next video for you. Sorry, it's getting a little dark because the sun is setting, but it's still good. So in this position, it's saying don't be lazy right now. And this, I'll talk about this more in my next video, because there's a series of like kind of like be careful out there sort of messages that are, there's 2 energies, as I said. There's this really benefic set of transits, and then there's these very like pedantic, intense sets of transits that are very consequential. So get your work done. This is just reminder. Get your work done. Then we have the Lovers, also in reverse. So listen, I gotta tell you guys this. So we have 10. if you're going through a breakup, it might be permanent in your family. If you're breaking up in a family, it may be permanent. There may be a lack of love in a relationship. There may be a lack of love in a relationship, but there's also, no, sorry, I gotta backtrack. In this position, there's gonna be a rekindling of love. Scratch that. So there's a rekindling of love because of this position of the card. The Lover's in reverse. You guys know I don't read reversals, but this one came up in the reverse. The cards want to go reverse with this deck today. It's Pisces, right? So 2-2, like making a mess. But there's for those of you who are struggling within a family relationship and you feel isolated and alone, because it's showing up very strongly, isolation and feeling alone, that breakdown in the relationship that you have with someone else is going to break down, stop being a breakdown because of the fundamental love that you have for each other. Okay? Then we have the 9 of Wands. Okay, and that's kind of to bring it to the example of Ukraine. This is why Russia's having a very hard time, in part because many people are Ukrainian and Russian. We have the same history: Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian, Czech, Slovak. We have about 1,000 years ago, we were the same family of people, right? And so that divided up, and everybody's unique and everybody's culturally distinct. I'm not saying any different, but this is where this war is going to hit. That's where I'm feeling hopeful that people's hearts are going to wake up and they're going to say, we're Slavic, we have to protect each other instead of fighting against each other. Anyway, so there is this very powerful energy of the imposition of ideas that we forced into our relationships and forced into our lives, saying, oh, we can't be in this relationship, or this won't work because, like, if you love each other, the underlying love, that's going to really come through right now. So, very powerful here. And I think that this is advice a little bit to be patient, the 9 of Wands. So really, truly be patient with your circumstances. This is not a time to rush. The only example is you have to rush if there's violence, like in Eastern Europe. Rush. Stop that crap. It's so bad. And it needs to stop. But overall, like, allow things to... Like, what I'm saying is nature is more powerful than any construct, any belief that we as humans have devised. And we have to be mindful that the way the Bible, every religion, every way that we think about things is fallible, and it's a mistake. It points in the right direction because it's our interpretation of nature, but it's not as specific as nature. Nature is always more powerful than us. The math of nature is more intricate. The nature, the Ukraine, the nature, the Veroosh. No, but like nature is the ultimate computer, right? Ultimate computer, and we can't replicate it with anything we make. So trust that process, that the underlying, your feelings, people denounce feelings so much, but our feelings point in the direction of what's important, right? So if you really love someone, I think this is a sign that things are going to work out ultimately. 6 of Swords. Somebody left a relationship, somebody left the situation, and there's a lot of hard feelings and trust. There's an emotional breakout, a betrayal of some kind, and so that's the hard thing to get over. The mind is creating a narrative around this 6 of Swords and saying, I can't trust, and maybe for good reason, but I'm saying if it's meant to be, if it's true, it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. Then we have the Fool, a new beginning. Something is being infused into the system that's really new and positive, and it's going to really change things for people. Let's see the next card. Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. Or for the problem. This was not my fault like the other ones this week. This was something to do with the internet connection. But anyway, so This is on the bottom is the Hierophant. Do you guys know what the Hierophant rules? The Hierophant is ruled by Taurus, right? And for the last little while, we've been talking about the North Node in Taurus at Medusa. And so I think that there's going to be an unveiling. Some really evil thing is going to be addressed. Something very evil is going to be like exposed or unearthed, and it's coming very soon. I'm thinking March 8th, but I'm not one to like pick a specific date for things, because in astrology that usually disappoints us. But I really sense that there's an energy of the Hierophant, Taurus, North Node, an overcoming, very hopeful cards of new beginnings, right? Very hopeful cards of starting new things. So I'm excited to actually clarify this, but as you guys can see, the light has left the building today, and I don't want to film this at night. Maybe I will. I'll see how it goes. But anyway, I hope you guys are well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy new moon. Sorry I was a little bit over the top today, but my energy matches this new moon's energy. All the Pisces out there will understand. So anyway, come say hi in the bottom. If you want a reading with me, it's still the link in the bottom, and I'll be back.